This is just a quick video just to give anybody who's interested a how-to on replacing a Rover 25 door mirror. As you can see, just coming together of door mirrors with a car. It's completely shattered, this one, broke the glass. It's not just a case of replacing the glass, I'm actually going to have to replace the whole assembly. To remove plastic cover here, this is actually quite tightly clipped on, but if you give it a bit of a pull, there's a couple of clips you can see down here, and there's one further one at the bottom there you may not be able to see. They need to be sort of undone or maybe a bit tight. To make it easier, I think you need to actually take this bit off, take the actual card off. Now to do that, it's clipped sort of down these edges, but there are two screws. There's one there which I've taken out already, and there's one there which you might initially think is just to hold the door pocket on, is actually to hold the door. You also need to remove the handle, so this piece will clip off here. Be careful because the clips on the end of these are quite brittle, and I've already pinged one off there. There are three screws which I've already taken out at the bottom, at the top, that actually bolt through to the door itself and will stop this whole panel coming off. So that once that's removed, it might also be easier if you need to remove the whole panel, which I'm not sure I do just yet, to remove the sort of blanking piece behind the door handle. Again, this is on clip, so with a small screwdriver you can fairly easily remove that, and then hopefully the door handle will be able to push back through there if it needs to. You can actually also remove the outer bit, but I couldn't actually get that past the handle at this stage, so then it should just be a case of pulling off the actual thing all the way around the bottom, off the clips, and then it's a case, I think, of sort of pulling it up. This bit may have to come off first. I need to try and work that out myself. And if it does, then we can get the whole door panel off. We do need to get behind this for definite, because you may not be able to see this, I probably won't be able to show this. We're way deep in there. That clip is actually the one which is the electrics for the door mirror. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, just bear with you a minute. This is actually quite tricky. This part is quite tightly pulled over the actual metalwork here. What I found these is have the door window down, and then you can sort of put your hand in the gap and sort of lift the rubber seal up over this lip it's clipped onto. Because at the moment with that in the way it's quite difficult. Once you've done that, you can actually then remove that bottom clip and that bit comes out there. And as you can see here, the door mirror is held on by three Torx headed screws, and that is the electrics connector I talked about earlier. But yeah, this bit is quite tricky to get off, the actual door card. You probably don't need to remove the whole thing actually, you can get those screws fairly easily, so I've just got it resting there, and hopefully that'll give me enough access, although I probably can remove it. But I must admit, getting the door lock button through this hole here could be quite an interesting job. It's quite tight, so we'll see if we need to do that. Okay, once the three that T25 Torx headed things in there, so once they're removed, you just need to remove the electrics clip. There's a little peg in there you need to push in, and then you can just slide that one up. There we go. And then that lot should basically feed out through the door, and this whole unit should just, as you can see there, come out, apart from the fact, of course, the clip is tight in there, and I've only got to do this one-handed. There we go. So that's the old one removed. Refitting, as in the immortal words of the Haynes manual, should be the reverse of these steps, so we'll see. I didn't need to actually take the door panel off completely. What I actually did was I just sort of hooked it down a bit to get out the bottom two screws there. You need to be a bit careful. There is a little wire here that goes to the speaker, so you obviously don't want to pull that too much and let the whole thing drop. So at the moment it's just sort of resting there, and hopefully that's all we need to do. And I'll show you the refitment in a moment. back with you with this one. I've got the replacement door mirror. I actually picked it up from a breaker's yard. It's a bit grubby, but it'll do, and the motor works. Refitting this should just simply be a case of the reverse. So obviously we need to put the electrics cable through there and through into the compartment in the car. That's a bit tricky. I might have to have two hands for this if the other one won't. Okay, there we go. Cable's pushed through, and you just need to then line up pegs through there, and it will just slot back in. You might need to just poke the cables, pull the cables through a bit just so they don't jam. Ultimately that is in. So we just need to go around the other side. This whole bit falls out, and get the Torque X screws in the original locations, and then there. Okay, just nipping up Torque X screws here. They're all nice and tight, so that should provide a decent water seal. So that bit's done. So all we need to do really now is just plug the electrics cable back in to the socket down here. Get that to focus on that. There we go. Now it goes in this way with the peg or the clip there, the returning clip there on this outer side, and just put it in. And I think you might have to actually press the clip down to actually slot it in. There we go. That's fully home. That cable just sort of wraps along there, so it's nothing difficult. So if we just apply a bit of power to the engine and we turn the knob, I hope you can hear there and see that one works brilliantly. So successfully replaced that. More difficult than it was taking it off. In the end, actually, when you're putting this over, this piece seems to actually get in the way at the bottom, stops you actually pushing this end. This end is fine, you put that over the edge of the door, but this end is quite difficult with this piece in the way. So what I did in the end was I actually took this piece off again, eased it over the door panel, and then just to get this back on, you do have to sort of pull this end away a bit, and then you can actually feed it into its pegs. So you might find that's a bit easy to do. Otherwise, it sort of gets in its own way, which is a bit infuriating. Not sure which way you should do it. Okay, so once you've got that in, we can then start putting things like the door handle back on. How's this go? Go this way. So then we can start bolting this back through the actual door, and put the three screws back in here. So I'll do that. I'm going to put the trim back around there. I did actually take this out in the end. It does clip back in. If you pull the door handle out, you then can actually get that outer sort of ring trim in there, and then you can put the inner bit in again. And then just do the screws back there and back down there again, and pop it back on around the edges on the clips. If your clips aren't broken like mine are, but it seems to hold on anyway. I'll show you what it's like when I finally put it back together. And there we go. It's all back together now. Trim's back on, all screwed back in, covers back there, the handle's back on, and the mirror's now working again. So there you go. Hope you might have found that interesting, or at least useful if you have to do the same job yourself, just so you know what bits you have to take off where, because when you start doing this, you're not quite sure where all the screws are hidden and what undoes what. So thank you for watching.